Welcome everyone to another edition of Seeing Jazz. I'm Hrayr Attarian. I'm a member of the Jazz Journalists Association. I'm also an amateur photographer. Today we're talking with the London-based photographer, Tatiana Gorilovsky. Tatiana, tell us a little bit about how you got into photography and why specifically music and jazz photography.
Okay. Thank you, first of all, for inviting me. It's a pleasure to be here today. Thank you for coming in the middle of the sunny Saturday. So I always loved art. I will start with the art. And I admire artists who could create out of nothing something amazing, something creative. Actually, it's not out of nothing. They also have some media, some instrument. They had pencil, they had paints and everything, and the canvas. And I'm so glad that we photographers have this instrument. I found finally the instrument that I could create with. So I couldn't draw myself, but I'm glad I can do it with the camera now. I had a musical background. So as a child, I played piano. I finished musical school, classical school. And sometime when I was on the first year of the college, I happened to be on one concert in a very strange and unusual and brilliant Russian, some kind of musical school. It was the musical school called School of Jazz Improvisation. And it was in the Soviet Union of that time, with all of the formal musical teaching that was in the country. And these guys just made completely different thing. It was created not by musicians, it was created by scientists. So physicists created this school, and it was for small kids and for adults also. And I happened to be on their concert, and that's probably first time I listened to real jazz. Maybe I listened something before, but I didn't know jazz and I didn't love it. But on this concert, it's just something happened, because it was not only brilliant music, it was amazing atmosphere and amazing vibe. And it was a wonderful school. And I decided to enter the school, and I spent a few years studying jazz improvisation. It was some period in my life that I just thought maybe I need to quit the college and to go and to be a professional musician. But I didn't do this, and that's good. It's fine. So at least I started to love this music, and I had a lot of connection with musicians. Some of my peers became very famous in Russia. So I later had a lot of photo models to photograph. So it was good. And I will not tell many details of my moving from place to place and some private things. So I just tell that we lived in Moscow, then we moved to America, and we lived in Boston for 3 years. And it was the period when I decided that it's probably good to go to college again. And I've chosen, so I had technical education, technical background in Russian. It was some computer science with the chemical process. It's boring stuff. I really didn't like this a lot. And later I came to college, and I just chosen a few subjects that I really loved. I had the darkroom photography, I had drawing, I had some history. So it was really amazing. And it was good for me not to study English just with the topics about the countries and all of this stuff. I went to college and to study language, to study things that I really loved. So, and after that, we moved back to Russia because my husband had some business starting in Russia this time. And we have children, and we have 4 children, and I had a lot of things, raising kids to do a lot of stuff at home. So later, when I returned to the work, I went to the designer, to the advertisement company. And I started to work as a designer and photographer. So, and later I started to photograph musicians. And when we come to London, it was 8 years ago already. I went to one club, to another club. So I just started to photograph musicians, and I loved how it worked. So it was the amazing combination of three things that I really loved. I love this music, and I love photography and to photograph, and I love to communicate with people. So, and in the new place, it was extremely amazing for me, because it was like a key, to these doors, when you can have some contacts and you have common things to discuss. And when you don't have the friends from the childhood that you usually have on the place when you leave, and when you move somewhere, and you can establish any connections with amazing people and doing what you love to do. So I'm photographing London Jazz Festival. It's only 10 days in the year, but it's amazing, the most brilliant 10 days. And I have a few concerts each day, 2, 3 concerts, and just moving from one to another. Not the whole concert, but part of this, another one. And photograph for a few clubs. So that's, and I love to experiment.
Highlight as you're showing us your photos. Can you highlight which ones were at the festival? And
yeah, probably when you will see some American guys, that's from
then it's at the
festival. Because that's usually better lighting. It's a big stages, and if it's more dark and British guys, that's probably from the club.
Yeah.
But we can see it.
And you've divided up your photos into segments based on style and topic, right?
Yes. So when I just look through the pictures, I was thinking how it's better to organize. I made the PowerPoint presentation, just put some pictures in the order. And I just realized that there are big groups that we can sort these pictures. And probably you are free to ask any questions anytime, but maybe at the end of each section, it will be nice to have just some questions if you have.
Let me ask, please, where do you publish?
I publish during the London Jazz Festival. It's usually when somebody is asking, and so they ask for the specific article if I have the pictures, so you take it. So it was published in Jazzwise magazine. It's our biggest issue. It was published in Times, yeah. I don't remember.
Yeah, it'll come to you.
In a few issues. Okay, we can check it later. You can Google, by the way, if you will. Pictures, and then news, you will see the pictures. Okay, so are we moving to the pictures?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Yes. So it's probably not right to talk about pictures, about photography, because photography should tell everything. We don't need to explain what I wanted to do and how I wanted to make it. Pictures should tell us everything, but we are colleagues and we all love jazz. So we have something to discuss, and so we can talk about this. That's fine. Let's move. So the first section, the first group, it's maybe the biggest and the first that you that comes to your mind when you are thinking about jazz photography. It's black and white pictures with some sharp images, and usually with some interesting expressions of musicians. That's the first one. Dee Bridgewater. It was from the London Jazz Festival in some. So when you listen to jazz, this is music that full of improvisation and full of movements and improvisation of the personalities, so open mouth, faces, hands in the air, some movements. That's probably very familiar for the jazz, black and white jazz pictures. And actually, if you will see the results of the jazz competitions these days, so probably it's confirmed this. A lot of pictures, it's just open mouths, big eyes, big faces, or some jumps or hands in there. Probably it's not right, because it's not only that characterize jazz pictures and jazz photography, but it's the biggest part. So Avishai Cohen, and this is probably, looking on these pictures, good to talk about cropping. So we all doing the photographs, we are doing some crops, but we don't put everything on the pictures that we see. We just decide what we focus on. And here, not only the cropping, the shape, it's also the turning. When I looked on the pictures of Herman Leonard, who is probably the best and the most famous jazz photographers, I just noticed that some of the musicians that he was photographing, looking on the microphone, you see that it's not straight position. When you see the microphone, it's some diagonal. So he did it intentionally, and I realized that it's much intense and interesting to see. So this more dynamic. He was staying straight, but his hands and expression. So I tried to turn. Usually I'm doing second layer, so the same picture, and just turning it and to see the difference. Which one is better? Which one is better to look? So here, this is the image. This is the picture of Cleveland Watkins. He's one of the best vocalists in UK. And he's also very energetic. So his expressions on the stage are amazing. And I just remember when I put this picture in Jazz Photographers Facebook page, and somebody commented that it's not good that his face is not sharp enough. And I remember the discussions, so if it's good or not. So yes, his face is not sharp enough, but his hands, this particular hand here. So for me, I think it's most important to have a sharp part when the composition show us where is the best part, where is the most important. So this is how composition works in the picture, in the photography. So we should see the most important part of the picture first, and then we can walk and see around and see the details. But the main point should be the most important part of the composition. I think this hand is most important, and so it's good to have it sharp.
Yeah. What was the little dot above the microphone?
It was something on the background or anything. I don't know, but I was thinking to put it away, but then I thought maybe it's better to leave. I don't know personally, but it was something. I know, maybe something
light.
Some light on his. Maybe he has glasses or anything. That's the question. We'll see. I need to see the original in color to see what was there, or probably light on the background. Do you think it's better to take away? What do you think? Maybe.
It's distracting me. I think it's something coming out of his nose.
Yeah. Okay. Probably, yeah, you're right. I'll do it. Madeleine Bell, and this is not from the festival, it's from the small jazz club. And by the way, she's 80. Do you know? Wow. She's an amazing singer. And she just had the big concert in the Cadogan Hall. It's a big hall in London. So it was celebration of her 80th birthday, but now she's already, I think, 81 or 82. So it was a bit later, but the celebration was amazing. But this is from the small club. So this expression is not, not so energetic, but I loved how her fingers come in and the nails polished, so combining with her head. And so she's amazing singer and beautiful woman. And this is Mota, if I pronounce right, Mota Fukushima or Fukushima. He's playing with the Max ZT on the how does it call this? Ducimal.
Yeah.
So it's
The conductor.
Oh,
yeah, and here is also the turning. I turn a little bit this image. I try to see how it will be better. So I didn't change his face. That's his expression, what he had. But I don't remember. Probably his guitar was up. So I tried to do something differently. So it was this diagonal in this direction. Oh my gosh, Canizares, Gillian Canizares. She's a singer and violinist and amazing musician, and that's her expression. And I don't know what. And also this line is a bit diagonal, so this composition, I think, it goes.
In addition to you're saying making diagonals for dynamic, other than that, apart from that,
so
these are taken from a distance and you're cropping, or you have a really long lens, or you're really close to that?
Not really very long, but the club was small, and I use 70 to 100. So I did made it closer. But I'm sure it was something on the background. I usually don't draw anything additional. Almost never. So I don't draw any lines. I don't draw any elements. The only thing that I'm doing sometimes, I'm taking away something that I don't like.
Yeah.
Something that in terms of composition, don't work well, and distract from the main point. So here is the main point, her face and her hair and her instrument. So it's better to have this in focus and brighter. And
so
probably
you haven't cropped much then?
I didn't crop much. I just deliberately took away some distractions from the background. I didn't erase. I just make additional layer, making this layer a bit darker, and it's automatically taking away all of the unwanted details, and just with the as additional layer with the mask, I'm just taking relief what I really need for the composition. Chick Corea. So sad that we can't photograph him anymore. This is really, and here is maybe interesting to talk about the thing that calls decisive moment. So it's in photography, I think it's Henri Cartier-Bresson made this first, this words. So he finds nice place. He was talking about street photography. He loved some special place, and he was waited. He waited for something happen in this particular place. So he loved how the light is coming. He loved composition, but he was just needs something to make this composition full, rich. So he was waiting for some person or for the animal or anything. So here I like how the light was here, and I was just made a few. I didn't wait. I just made. We are lucky that we can make many pictures, and we can see what we like later. So I like this one particularly because it was the 1 second before the music, before he pressed the right key, and just something in the air. So, and music was amazing. That was another festival. It was not a London Jazz Festival. It was Love Supreme Festival. We have it. It's outside. It's not in London. It's near Brighton. It's an hour and a half from London. So they have the stages, but it's not open stage. So it's stage with the tent. So it was a bit dark. It was very close, like the evening club setting. So it was dark on the background, and they have lighting. So this is the moment a few years ago.
It's a wonderful moment, and I wonder why you made the decision not to darken the microphone stand that's running into his, chest, and I mean, since you're doing that to clear up the background in some of your pictures.
No, this is the balance. I always ask these questions myself. Do I need to take away everything? And sometimes I love, because they had a few dots here and there, and it gives something, I don't know, maybe some rich background, not very artificial. I could easily take it away, but I just decided to leave it like, I don't know.
I kind of like the light, the way the light travels from behind his hood and the rim of his hair down his chest, and that mic stand that Mark is talking about, and then down to the keyboard in his hands, and then that second keyboard off to the right. I mean, that seems like another passageway for my eye, that's moving across the lower left to upper right diagonal that you've got going on.
So you also think that this line should be here, right?
I think it should be. I think it's reflecting, that path of light in a way. It reinforces it, I think.
Yeah, I think it makes sense that it moves your eye around. I guess I would just darken the spot that's closest to his chest.
Yeah, maybe just made it. It will be nice to make it a little bit not so bright. You're right. Probably you're right. But it's really good when you have something to look at, when you can
right.
travel.
I think it's richer than having a black background for sure.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you. Yes. And this is Laura Mvula. And here is interesting. It's also Love Supreme Festival. It's also the tent, not the open air. And they put some smoke. I really love when it's musician with the smoke. It's said that these days not so many clubs using smoke small clubs can't make it because it's probably not safe, not very good. I don't know, but it's very good for photographers. I loved it. So that's what lucky moment. Then they had this, and she changed her appearance so often. I was photographing her a few more times, and she had long hair, short hair, no hair, and she's amazing musician and brilliant singer, and very beautiful photo model. I love to photograph her. Connie Lush, that's nice moment. And here is not so strong, emotional expression, but this is the situation when musicians just concentrated on what he or she is doing. So I loved sometimes, this is one of my favorite clubs when I started to photograph in London. It's 606 Jazz Club. And I had this special place when I'm standing. It's near the toilet, but it's not because I need the toilet during photographing. That's because the light is coming from the side and I'm standing. So I see the almost black background otherwise it's something more busy and not so interesting. And this is a nice light that comes this way. So it's Imani, very good singer too. She's part of the group. Okay, I'll remember later. I need to write everything probably.
Tatiana, I just wanted to say that I noticed that you've included a lot of women in this slideshow, and I appreciate that you have, it seems like that's an important lens with which you use when you're photographing.
I love to photograph women. I even made the calendar woman in jazz, and I included it in the end of the presentation. You will see it.
Well, I just wanted to say I love your work, but I also really appreciate that you highlight the women.
Thank you. They are crucial part of the jazz scene.
Yes, they are.
And they're very beautiful, yeah.
She's with the Human something group, right?
How do you call?
Human something?
No,
no,
not Human. I will remember, I promise.
Okay.
Oh, Bobby McFerrin, yes, yes, it.
Bobby McFerrin, yeah.
Yeah. This picture is from the sound check. Some musicians changing clothes for sound check, not him. I think he was in the same clothes that he was on the concert. And I'm so glad I came for the sound check and have this at least close up of him, because it's a huge Barbican hall. And sometimes they're doing crazy things with the photographer. They put photographers in the wooden box that it's behind everyone, right after all of the rows. And this time in this wooden box, they put even the glass. So we have 5 or 6 photographers sitting in the very close box, and we had to photograph through the glass. I've never seen this, so it's just crazy. So I'm glad I have this picture. Because of the sounds that they didn't want to distract.
Oh, this musician, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And this is an amazing musician. He's not, he just started his musical career. He was a football player. He was a football player and musician, and I saw him recently in the 606 Club. He's amazing. He has brilliant voice, very soft, very deep, and he's a singer-songwriter. I just hope he will make more beautiful songs, and he's amazing. That's probably, okay, so we finish the black and white section. If you have any questions, please ask, or we will move to another one section that it's not only colorful pictures, it's the pictures when the light is playing some unusual and important role. Actually, in all of the pictures, we can't do anything without light, but this is the section where something happened with this light. So speaking about this particular picture, so this light that is not constant, it's just going on and off. And strobe light, yeah. And I've seen this, that it's possible maybe to catch this second when it's right behind his head. So it was not easy to get this proper angle. So I just remember I moved a lot and had to put down. But when it happens, I was very lucky and happy that it happens. So in this moment, I just realized that I don't try to catch his expression. I would try to catch the right moment for this light to be exactly on the right place. So this is the one picture. And this is another. So it's real light that was behind him. It's Theon Cross. And it was probably 10 or 12 photographers photographing right near the stage. And I was sure that everyone will do this picture because it was it was real that this light was something that you need to catch. I was lucky. I was almost laying on the floor because it was, I need to be very, very low to get this particular moment when the light is exactly on the right place coming out of his tube.
This is continuous light, or this is another flashing light?
I think it's flashing light. Yes, it was not all the time. It was flashing. Yes. So this is a challenge to catch the light. And this is also flashing light, Jacob Collier. Probably too bright here. I don't know, maybe because his hand disappeared, but I like how it comes. Yeah, it's like
real.
New star, because he's young and he's amazing, he's brilliant, he's just genius, I think. I've just, a few days ago, I was in Bristol and I didn't expect any concerts. I went there to help my daughter to move from one flat to another and to take all of her belongings home. And I just realized that they had the concert of Jacob Collier outside in Bristol. So I was so lucky to be there and saw him. He's amazing. And he will have tour. So if he will come to States, much recommended. He's just power, positive energy, and amazing music.
Well, Theon Cross is coming to Chicago. In the autumn, autumn or winter.
And this picture is also about some light and smoke and additional. It was in the church, it's Union Chapel. And you don't see the details of the chapel here, but this lighting, when the smoke comes on the proper lighting, that's just amazing how it's come. By the way, Herman Leonard was making a lot of pictures with the smoke. And I read some, I don't remember, it was his memoir or he just made an interview, and he talked a lot about this situation when he tried to emphasize the light. So he did it in the dark room. And sometimes looking on his pictures, and if you see the ceiling of the club, you see this light and you can't understand what's going on there because some details of the smoke together with some details of the ceilings coming out. But he intentionally did it in the dark room using some special chemicals to make this this smoke looking more bright. We are lucky to have more easy way to do it now in Photoshop. So
unfortunately, in his case, the smoke was cigarette smoke and not smoke machine.
Yes.
I was going to say that too. And the other thing is, it's true. I have some envy for European photographers because of the drama that the smoke machines add, because we don't really have that in the States that I'm aware of much at all. And so it really adds a lot. It
adds a lot, yeah.
Although on the other hand, I once was I was part of a tour of some Chicago musicians who were touring in Poland, and one of the musicians, it was Kahil El-Zabar, got furious when they turned the smoke machine on because he said, I can't breathe, turn that off. Who said you could turn it on? So we
still can do it in the photo shoot, some private photo shoots, and maybe to use the sticks, the aromatic sticks.
Incense.
Some smoke, Okay, we are moving to the section that I love most of all. I love this to experiment with this, and Lauren will understand me. We're doing almost close things. So this is the photographing with the long exposure, with the multiple exposure. So this is the picture I've made. I made this effect first time. It's Arkady Shilklopper. He's playing on the French horn, and he's an amazing musician. And I remember this moment that I came to the concert, and I like his music and I like how he played. But I was waited for some emotional moments, and he didn't do anything. He was very calm. He was very stable. He didn't do anything, but he played good. So that was the moment I said, I need to do something, and let's try this one. And I moved my camera. So it was the moment with movement of the camera. And I like this effect. So all of the dots of light that the instrument has, making the trail, and playing with the time of the exposure. So there are some opportunities to do, to improvise and to do some nice things. So I do this now almost on each concert. This is Peter King in the small club. So it works much better when the background is dark, especially black or even dark, and when the musician wears something dark. In this case, the instrument that we have gives, saxophone is the best probably in this situation, because each dot makes a trail. So there is a question about the sharpness of the face. So I just realized that sometimes it's okay when you have blurry face, but not all musicians love this situation. They love to have this face more bright and sharp. So sometimes so here I didn't do anything. It was, I was just waited for some time still, and then in the last second I moved camera. So
great. It looks like
go ahead, Mark.
Looks like the horn is on fire. It's wonderful.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. It happened because probably his horn was not very smooth, and it was some lines or some fracture, I don't know, something on the surface. So I was surprised. I didn't expect this, because all of this
I have a question about the previous picture.
Yeah.
How did you stabilize the camera so that his face is clear?
Honestly, you want honest?
Yes.
That's a second layer.
Oh, I see. Okay.
That's the secret that I use also.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm not doing it all the time,
Right.
but and this time, yes, I did it. So I had several pictures of him, some of them with the sharp on the same position, regular and sharpness. So and this with movement. So I just made the second layer.
I see. I understand.
Yeah,
Okay.
I always make sure I do both,
Yeah.
so I have that option. I just also wanted to say it's interesting that you started doing this because you were kind of bored waiting for him to, and that's exactly why I started playing around.
Yeah.
So it just,
Yes, it's something that in the air. Honestly speaking, when I started, I didn't see other pictures of the musicians in this technique. And when I saw the pictures, Laura, and your pictures later, I was surprised. Wow, we are doing almost the same things. But we did it separately in different places.
Yeah.
But there was some photographer who inspired me a lot. And it was the photographer not photographing musicians. It's funny, he was photographing horses.
Oh.
He is the photographer from Slovenia. His name is Milan Malov or something like that. But if you will Google Slovakian photographer, horses, long exposure, you will find him. And what he was doing, he was photographing horses on the sunrise or sunsets, because you can see the hair of the horses, some rays of light, and the grass with the light. So and I understood that some area he was cheating too. So he left some some faces, some horses silhouettes sharp, and some with the movements. So his pictures was really made me think, wow, I need to try this with the musicians. So he was the first who inspired me.
And I don't think it's cheating. I think it's sort of moving into
I'm trying not to do it now because I think it's not cheating, yeah, but we can do anything we want. In the time of the artificial intelligence and all of these things, we photographers can do everything. But for me, it's cool, and I love to do something photographically in the camera, not in the Photoshop. It's not a problem to do in the Photoshop, but it's just additional challenge that
Yes.
I like to have. So Shez Raja, and he's moving his guitar. So probably he moved it in the, I don't remember, did I do the zoom also, or it's just his movement? No, I think it's only his movement. So it's interesting to have these trails of the real movements of the musician. So that's him. And already you can see this is a real movement. And this is real movement. So some musicians, so you can study and explore what movements musicians are doing. So he's doing something circular movement. He did something down and up. So it's interesting.
When I first started, I would see stuff like this, and I call them light signatures, and really wonder if you could, if musicians had light signatures,
yes,
but specific to them, like Roscoe Mitchell's light signature would be different than this guy's.
Yes, it's true. Okay, there's also Theon Cross. We already had him with the ray of light, and he's just like in the water. I don't know, some creature. So this is the movement that I've done with the camera, not him, definitely.
Are you doing something with the color also?
Not much, no. That was lucky, the different lighting. I think they had different colors of lighting. I play sometimes, but with the colors, it's always, I hate when the musicians are purple. That's very convenient. It's very it's very often in the clubs that they use this ugly purple light, and I hate this. So sometimes when I see this light on the faces, I do try to in Photoshop to make it something more human-like and not the monster-like like purple.
First time I've seen a photography done like this was on the cover of Eric Dolphy in Europe. I don't know who the photographer is on that, but
okay, let's.
I wonder if that was Chuck Stewart.
And
it's not really his style.
Yeah, it's on the third. It's a 3 LP set. It's on the third one.
I know those albums. Yeah.
Yeah.
What was the name of the musician?
Eric Dolphy in Europe, Volume 3.
Okay, I'll check. It's interesting.
Yeah.
So here is an example that I intentionally try to make these notes. I try several times, and so this is notes and music. Tuba also. And here it's interesting, I told that I like that musicians are wearing something black. And but this is the first time I saw when I came to this gig, and I saw his very bright, colorful wearing, and I thought I will not do this, but he was so energetic and so he jumped and he moved a lot, so I think I need to try something with him. So I have a few times make this, and it plays. It's interesting. So this is double exposure. So on one, it's made only in the camera. So one shot, it was long exposure, and I moved a lot. That's why we have all of these dots and all of these lights. And the second shot, it's sharp, and that's how he looks here on the right part. And this is also him. And that was the way how I think he moved, or maybe I moved to cover too. And also the second shot in the same place with the sharp image.
Nice.
Wow.
Mark Kavuma, you can see the head and face here. And this is something about his music because he experimented a lot and made this interesting things in the music. So this one, Anna Karlamaza, if I pronounce right now. So it's also two shots in one place. So the first long exposure, all of these lines, and probably it was changed the light a little bit. So they changed this green, blue, and or maybe it was light blue all the time, and that's just red. Yes, red is just her dress here. So that's why. So the light was blue. And I moved camera and all of this movement like butterflies, I don't know, wings or anything. And this is I made the first one, and I decided to wait something really catching when she will do something. So at the end of the song, she did this, and I was lucky to have it here. And here is also, so here I didn't make an additional layer, but the background was black, and I made this small movement of the camera to the sides. And when I had the second picture sharp on the same place, it just happened to be much brighter than the previous one. That's why it came here. So this is
interesting.
Yeah, and he's a huge experimentator. Yeah, he did so many new things in music in his young years. Now he's playing calm and not doing much during the music. But I just wanted to show something how interesting and improvising and cool his music is. And I had another picture of him with a wave. So here, I remember I had some more details here, just made them a little bit more darker, not to catch attention. I put a few pictures. I don't know how much time do we have? Maybe
we have about 10 minutes. So
okay,
a little over 10 minutes.
Okay, I'll move fast. It's Dana Gillespie, and she's amazing, amazing singer, songwriter. She tried so many different styles. She's 74 right now, and she had 73 albums, different albums in different styles. So she sung folk music, rock and roll, even Indian, some special songs. And now he's singing blues. And I wanted to show her, she's singing amazing. She has such an amazing stage presence and personality. It's a brilliant blues singer. But when I'm going to the photo shoot, I look in the internet, I see some pictures. And all the pictures that I found of her was when she was young, and when the photographers made her look sexy with a huge cleavage. So she was beautiful. And I wanted to make something that reflects her now, and when she looked beautiful, but with this charisma that she has, and with some blues ideas. It's during the quarantine. She lives near the Hyde Park, and she asked me to come in the very, very early hours when nobody's in the park. So we meet the sunrise and walked a little bit. So it was amazing. And this is Bumi Thomas. I just made this collage out of different. So we didn't know what to do. I personally don't like to photograph in the studio. And don't do this often. Sometimes I do it, but not very often. I like to go somewhere and to see what's around and to play with the nature or with some street shots. So we tried different combinations. She went to some shops and she was sitting near the shops, and it's good that she had a few outfits, so we changed, and that was the photo shoot of her. And it's interesting, some people, when we outside and doing something, some people are afraid to lean on the tree or to do something, or to step somewhere. And some amazing photo models are doing crazy things. So this girl, she's amazing. We didn't plan anything, and it was a bit cold. And I just asked her, can you climb the tree? Because this tree was amazing. And she said, sure. So she took off her jacket and she jumped on this tree, and we did some nice and crazy things. So this is it. And this is amazing musician Noel McCullum. I always try to, I was photographing them several times in the clubs, and I know there is a moment at the end of the performance when he's doing these crazy things with his hair, and it's always in the air. So when we had this photo shoot in the Richmond Park, I asked him if he can do it intentionally and to catch this hair. So this is just a joke to have it like he's a tree out of this.
And you have the bird right on top.
Yeah,
Yes, I love birds. So here are also some birds, more pleasure. This guy, he played when he was 15 with the Ray Charles, and later he was the leader of the musical director of the Earth, Wind and Fire for 10 years or for 9 years. Now he lives in UK, and he's an amazing musician. And this also Noel McCullum. So this is several pictures with the jumps. I love when people jumping, and it's really amazing to ask them to jump sometimes.
Is this a fisheye lens you're using,
It's
or did you do it on Photoshop?
Yes,
oh, no,
yes,
it's a fisheye lens. Okay.
Yeah. And that was the sound check, and they already finished. And the very end, I just took the fisheye, looked at this, and just asked them, "Can you just jump?" And these guys, they are amazing. They're doing the program with the Stevie Wonder songs, and they have a tour right now. So they were very happy, and they said, "Okay, we can do this," and they did it. So I'm lucky that they did it. So a few more jumps with more pleasure and Kedma. And this is also Jump Besh and Tifa. And this is the jumping group. It's Sarah. Honestly speaking, she was a bit lower. And I thought that we need to put her a little bit up as a center of the composition. So that's Photoshop a little bit. And all of them, but it was one shot, so as they did it. This is very funny. And a few some creative things that allow to unite a few images together. So with this Booby Thomas with some flowers, and there's Besh and Tifa with the Richmond Park landscape. And this, how do you think, what color is her dress? Any ideas?
Blue.
Blue?
No, but close. It's white. So this made in the photo in the camera, and when you're doing multiple exposure, it just reveals everything that is. It adds if the background is white and something is white, so it reveals the grass and the flowers on the black.
Yeah.
So this is also, we don't have much time. Okay, if you just combination the same person, like 2 of them, 4 of them, and this is a gospel. It's one person. I just read in the Facebook that she said that she's making the records when she put her voice many times and making sound like a gospel hall.
Oh yeah, like
I just decided that it's a good idea to make it for her. And this is the Women in Jazz calendar. So I'll make it a bit. So it was the idea, that was my quarantine project. So I decided to make something. The clubs was closed. So I looked on my archives. So I saw many pictures of women. I decided to make them, to organize them. It's, I call it calendar, but it's also only the birthdays that are in the calendar order. And all of the others, you can use it any year. And the idea is to make a QR code. It's near each of the portraits. And when you are with your phone, you can read the QR code and listen to the music straight away.
Oh,
So
very nice.
That's great.
yeah, it's in one calendar, you have 126 different albums, or
Oh,
even more,
okay.
because sometimes it comes to the YouTube channel and they have different things.
That's fantastic, Tatiana.
Thank you. Oops, sorry. And that's, I just wanted to mention, we had the Women in Jazz Media workshops during London Jazz Festival. And the idea was to talk about the other photographers. I've chosen a few, my favorite photographers from the past. And we talked about them. And then we had the photo shoot in the style of the jazz age. So these are the people who came. This is the owner, one of the owners of the clubs. And this is photographer and some of the people from the audience. So we played with some smoke too. They allowed us to do this. It was the sticks with the aromatic sticks. So that was fun to do. And I had a few questions. If we have just
We have time. Yeah.
a
Sure.
few minutes.
Yeah.
So we talked a lot about different multi-exposures and long exposure. That's not my picture. That's from the history of the photography. Do you have any idea how he made this? It's William Godwin, one of the first.
Glass?
Huh?
Broken glass or broken mirror?
Yes,
No?
you were right. I thought you will tell that this is something long exposure, or that was, I was thinking first. Yes, it's broken mirror. He made a mirror, he's broken and made a picture of this. Okay, this is the question, another question. It's not jazz musicians, but that's from the history of the long exposure shots. These shots made in 1914, and he was probably one of the first who used this technique. And this is not art pictures. So he did it intentionally for some reason. Any idea why he did it? So this trails of light for some reason. Any ideas?
Something like a magnetic field or something like that? Or...
No. Good try. Any other ideas?
Okay.
It's a motion study, isn't it? Of assembly something, and he had lights on his hands.
Yes, you are right. So it was research. It was a huge book of the research, how efficient are the movement of the workers that are doing some work. So this guy I'm making, yes, assembly or something, and this was moving sometimes. Yeah, you're right. And here is the picture. It's not just a photographer, but he's a main teacher of Herman Leonard. So Herman Leonard, when he told about his inspiration and roots, he always talked about his teacher, Yusuf Karsh, and he was very famous photographer. He left so many, I didn't realize first how many famous people he was photographed. So I knew this picture of Ernest Hemingway, of Churchill, our Queen, so many amazing famous people. He was very good portrait photographer. And his Herman Leonard always told about his very important lessons for his life. So this is just funny story why Churchill is not happy. What do you
Oh,
think?
he took the cigar out of his mouth.
Yes, I
Yes,
know.
you knew
Oh,
it.
we know that one.
Yeah.
Did you knew this?
Yeah.
Yes, that was right. And
Talking about
one
the
of the
fun.
lessons that Yusuf Karsh told him, it was the words that you need to photograph in terms of, you need to photograph truth, but truth in terms of beauty. So that's probably the most important things that I also keep in my mind. So we need to photograph truth. We don't need to add anything additional, to draw anything. It should be truth with the musicians. But in terms of beauty, to make something look more beautiful and nice.
I like this. Piano
I also
smiling.
corrected it on my t-shirt. So it was partly fisheye. So I looked on the fisheye and I thought, wow, he's smiling, and then add something. Probably this part was the fisheye, and this is additional thing. Okay, I think, yes, I finished. So any questions, please, you can ask.
So I want to return to my earlier question about publishing. These are beautiful images. Are you successful in placing them? As people are publishers finding you, or you sell?
Sometimes, usually, if somebody came to this particular concert, any gig, and they are writing about this, so they are asking about pictures. Not the other way. I'm not very successful in placing my pictures somewhere just intentionally for the pictures.
Fiona mentioned that your photographs are part of the National Jazz Archive.
Yes, I'm very, thank you, Fiona, for introducing us to the National Jazz Archive. Yes, it's amazing. Yeah. So they have.
Have you had exhibits?
I did have a few exhibits in Russia many years ago. Some as a part of the group exhibits. One, it was my project. I did the travel in time. So you saw the jazz age. So it was just 100 years ago. But I like to do the travel in time to Renaissance. So I made the pictures. It's not musician, but it was scientists, and I made them look like they're with all of this sculpts and metals and everything, and the equipment like Renaissance people. So we had and here we had a small exhibition during London Jazz Festival as a woman in jazz media team. Probably someday I will try to do the exhibition. We live in this time, in this digital time. I'm not sure that I need this, real exhibition and to be happy and to see real pictures. We all can put everything online and to have exposure and reaction of the people. So these days, everything is faster. Well, I have the gallery that takes my landscape pictures. So I was traveling to China and made some pictures of the China landscapes in some nice view. So this gallery, it calls Lumas, and they have many galleries throughout the world. So they sell them. So this is like an exhibition.
Last year the JJA had a what we call the Jazz Back in September to honor the winners of the awards and everything. Yes. And we had a PowerPoint by Carol Friedman in a gallery, in a virtual space. And I'm thinking your PowerPoint would be a good one to put into that gallery for next September when we do another event.
Oh, that would be great.
So we'll talk about that.
We can correct it and make something.
It's pretty good the way it is. Anyway, that's great. Beautiful images, Tatiana. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Pleasure to hear. Thank you.
I just want to mention one thing. I just looked it up. That picture of Eric Dolphy on the cover of the volume 3 is by a photographer named Bert Goldblatt.
Okay, good to see. Okay, I'll
Okay,
check it.
yeah, I'll email it to you.
Thank
So
you.
thank you everyone for joining. This will be available on YouTube in a few weeks. And thank you, Tatiana, for taking time for your evening and
It
telling
was
us
a
about
pleasure.
your.
Thank you for coming. Thank
You're
you.
welcome.